Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
I'm Ann Trujillo with the latest from Denver 7.
What is happening? What is happening? This cannot happen. This cannot happen. This cannot happen.
A 13-year-old umpire makes a call and tempers flare. Parents punching one another. This all-out brawl at a youth baseball game is now getting national attention. We know that 5 people have been cited, and police are trying to identify 15 to 20 more parents who face possible charges. And for the first time, we are hearing from the frantic adults who tried to put an end to this madness. That video has so many of you fired up, asking where were the children, if they're safe. Well, a grandparent we spoke with who was at that game says one moment things were fine, the next moment chaos broke out.
On an empty baseball diamond in Lakewood Tuesday, crews are preparing a field for another busy weekend of games. A summer staple for kids across Colorado, a place to learn about the fundamentals of the game and sportsmanship. But just 5 days ago,
this cannot happen.
An unsportsmanlike display, not by players, but parents and coaches.
I just could not believe what was happening.
A terrifying scene for families sitting in the stands.
I turned and yelled at my daughter and told her to get my grandson out of there.
This grandmother says it all started when a young umpire made a call that the opposing team thought was unfair.
They were yelling at the umpire, the young kid, and our coach put his hands on them.
Some parents got the kids away to safety.
There were about 5 to 6 kids that were crying really bad.
She stayed on the phone with 911, narrating what was happening.
Somebody has a bat. He's going after our coach.
She says the fight lasted for up to 20 minutes before police arrived. And this was not the first time parents and coaches on these 2 teams got rowdy. During the last game,
there was some verbal fighting,
but nothing physical.
It's a child's game. They're 7 years old.
USSSA Baseball, who is not involved with these teams or this league, says this is happening more often.
I think it's getting more aggressive. I think we're seeing more of this over the past few years.
And their umpires across the state and country are
being heckled, harassed, threatened, chased to the parking lot.
So they're taking proactive steps and banning anyone for life that gets into a fight. The grandmother just says she hopes the adults see this video and think twice about their actions.
They made a terrible decision. I can't even say mistake. I just feel like it was a terrible decision.
That was Megan Lopez. Violent crime is on the rise in Denver. New crime stats show the city's rate is rising faster than any other large city in the country. This report from the Brennan Center for Justice shows violent crimes like murders, assaults, and armed robberies went up 9% between 2017 and 2018. The overall violent crime rate in the country's most populous cities dropped about 4%. Data from the first part of this year shows the rate may be dropping in 2019. Now, they say this rise is due largely to gang violence and domestic violence, which the department is working to crack down on. Police make an arrest after they say a man ransacked a comic book store. This is the surveillance video from that theft last month, where the thief stole 15 comic books. They were valued at $49,000. Well, today officers arrested this man, Francisco Isidro Ruiz, identified in court documents as a former Mile High Comics employee. Police say they were able to track him down from blood left in the store when he broke the glass displays. RTD is under investigation by the Public Utilities Commission after a derailment hurt 5 passengers. One of those passengers had to have their leg partially amputated when the train jumped the tracks at Sable and Exposition during a January blizzard. Now, RTD says weather, speed, and operator training caused this crash, and they now have to issue a corrective action plan in the next 30 days. More road construction is coming your way that should eventually ease traffic congestion on busy Pena Boulevard. The city of Denver is expanding a 3.5-mile stretch of road near the airport, which would turn it into 9 lanes. Right now, there are only 6. They will also build a new interchange at Jackson Gap. This project will cost about $93 million, and construction is supposed to start in January if the project is approved by Denver City Council. And tonight we are hearing from DIA after we learn of yet another delay for the main terminal project. In a statement, airport officials said, quote, the airport is disappointed about the developers' delays on this important project. Given the developers' continued reports indicating delays, we are in confidential negotiations to work through these issues. Now, construction started last July. The initial estimate for finishing the entire project was November of 2021, but the developer found problems with the concrete and then pushed the date back. So now it's May of 2024.
I was thinking, wow, they actually let these guys do this. Why, people are coming and going. But then I was thinking, well, you can't really shut an airport down.
Mediation between the developer and the city of Denver is expected to happen soon. And no decision on whether advocates can try to put a late-term abortion ban on the November ballot. A Colorado group wants to ban abortions after 22 weeks, and they want you to vote on the issue in 2020. Now, the state title board is deciding whether that group can start collecting petition signatures to get it on the ballot. They met today, the board did, and chose to continue debate until early July. The group supporting the ballot initiative will need 124,000 signatures, and they are not allowed to start collecting signatures until the title board signs off. Coloradans are inching closer to their first Tabor refund in years. New information from the Joint Budget Committee shows taxpayers are likely to get a sales tax refund and an income tax cut. They expect Tabor to drop the income tax rate from 4.63% to 4.5%. For someone who makes $50,000 a year, that's about $65 in savings. The sales tax refund could range between $13 and $41. How would you like to be able to ski year-round at a place just 30 minutes from downtown Denver? I know, kind of sounds too good to be true, right? Well, a development company is trying to make that happen in Castle Rock. It is one of several projects planned for the land near Philip Miller Park. Denver 7's Megan Lopez takes a closer look at what all this development means for the town.
Just about anywhere you look around Castle Rock these days, things are going up. More people.
We're just a touch over 70,000 residents now.
Higher property values.
Castle Rock is one of the more desirable places to live.
And yes, lots of construction. Until now, much of the development happening in Castle Rock has been residential, but
there's just a lot of exciting things happening in town.
One of those exciting things is this empty field. It was the town's landfill up until the 1980s, but soon
we're standing right about here.
This area will be home to a brand new hotel and conference center, as well as
roughly 400,000 or 500,000 square feet of office, a bunch of food and retail and entertainment.
And right across the street, this, a year-round ski hill for people who don't want to drive to the mountains. But it wasn't easy getting here.
Not everybody goes to buy a landfill.
We chased development for nearly 10 years on that property.
And a lot of garbage had to be removed.
In real terms, like 4 Coors Fields.
But with all of the growth our Colorado has experienced, even with the trash, the land this landfill was sitting on has become a treasure.
We see the future of this land of being an economic driver for the community.
And last week, this area was finally deemed clean. So soon the heavy construction equipment will come in and the cranes will go up. The town is just hoping that as new buildings go up, so will employment.
Right now, almost 80% of residents of Castle Rock leave every morning to go someplace else. Our goal is to change that.
So that Castle Rock won't just be a place to pass through or live, but a destination all of its own.
It's a lot of change, but it's a good change.
In Castle Rock,
I think Castle Rock has a really bright future.
Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And now from the First Alert Weather Center, here's a look at your forecast. Nice and warm tomorrow with a high around 85. And then Friday, then moving into Saturday and Sunday, we're talking some afternoon storms and cooling off for the weekend, but then back into the 80s for next week. This has been your Denver 7 On Demand update. Thank you so much for joining us. And check back here later tonight for another update and download the Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. I'm Ann Trujillo.